Hello everyone, I'm Teresa, and on today's video I will talk about the Major Arcana card number 3, the Empress. Welcome back to another video of the Tarot series. First of all, let me apologize if you were waiting for this video on Sunday. For those following me on Instagram, this is no news to you, but if you aren't on Instagram, let me explain why this video is late. This last week, I had one of the street cats show up intoxicated by a chemical after one of her neighborhood walks. And she was drooling very heavily and she was very lethargic. So I rushed her to the vet. After being there for almost 4 hours for observation, for exams, she was supposed to stay overnight, but because of this pandemic we are all going through, I couldn't really afford for her to be admitted and stay overnight at the vet, so I brought her home. She needed almost 24-hour care with medications, syringe feeding, lots of healing cuddles. So it ended up delaying me preparing for this video, filming this video, editing this video. So I'm sorry that it is a bit late. It was for a good cause. But I'm happy to let you know that Francisca, the mini panther, will make a full recovery. On this video, we are going to dive into the card of the motherly Empress. Like the previous videos, I'm going to analyze the card to help you understand it and how the elements present on the card can help you to read the card with intuition rather than pure memorization. Once again, feel free to disagree with me if your interpretation is different. Let me know with a comment what you think about my point of view. I'll gladly have a chat, just remember to keep things polite. Okay then, let's start with the card. So this is the card number 3, and by the numerology principles we see this number as a number of fruition, of growth and creation. So we have this basic notion to begin with to analyze this card as a card that will speak of creative power, of abundance, of accomplishment. Let's observe the card more closely. Similar to the High Priestess of the previous video, on the Empress card we have a woman sitting down and she appears to show a determined pose but a stern face. Contrary to the previous card, however, the Empress is sitting down on red comfy pillows. She is firmly holding a staff on her right hand and is wearing a crown with stars. Underneath that crown she has a laurel wreath. Her robe or gown has pomegranates, has a pattern, and we can see a heart-shaped shield with a glyph, which can also be seen as a pattern on the pillow behind her in black and yellow. She is surrounded by nature with a beautiful waterfall behind her, a lovely field of crops in front of her, while the sky is a bright, vivid yellow. Let's deconstruct these elements to better understand them. Starting with the red pillows, they show that the Empress sits in comfort, while the color red suggests passion and sensuality. Reinforcing this idea is the pattern of her gown, which depicts pomegranates. And if you remember from the previous video, they are a symbol of love, fertility, and the divine feminine. This brings forth the notion that the Empress is a card of romantic creation, of sensuality and growth. The bright yellow sky gives us the idea that the Empress is a very positive card that radiates confidence, determination, and clarity. The shield on the floor, resembling a heart, bears a glyph, and this specific glyph represents Venus. This glyph is used in astrology to represent the planet Venus, and Venus rules our feelings, what we love in life, our pleasures, and so on. Venus is also the Roman goddess of love, of beauty, sex, and fertility. And this glyph is also the symbol used in the sciences to represent the female gender. If you pay close enough attention, you can also see the glyph on the black and yellow pillow under the big red pillow. This shield sets the notion that the Empress shields herself with love and grace, with a strong feminine energy. The power of love and beauty is very evident. The fact that she is holding a staff in such a firm way, it's a sign of power, meaning she is a confident woman, a sign of female power and leadership. Moving on to her crown, it's made up of 12 stars, and these are associated with the 12 signs of the zodiac, as well as her pearl necklace that is said to represent the planets of the solar system, making her carry the power and entirety of the universe within her jewelry. This represents the idea that while the Empress is a card connected to motherhood, it isn't just related to the nature around her, as we often say Mother Nature, but she's related to the whole universe around us, the primal principle of life and the idea that life exists beyond the barriers of nature here on Earth. It's the Empress' connection with the realm of all things mystical and divine. On other interpretations, the 12 stars on her crown are symbolic for the 12 months of the year, making the Empress' power and rulership strong and present throughout the year. The laurel wreath under her crown is a Greek symbol of victory, triumph, and prosperity. This was also used by Romans, and to this day it's still used in some countries for ceremonies or for the symbolic weight it carries. Lastly, but not less important than the previous elements, are the nature elements surrounding her. The deep connection with the idea of Mother Nature and the fertility and abundance of nature itself. This is a clear sign that this card is ruled by the element of Earth, and being ruled by this element means that external forces will be working. The waterfall symbolizes the flow of life, the nourishment by watering the land surrounding her, keeping nature fresh and growing. The crops in front of her are yet another symbol of the idea of fertility, of abundance and growth. With all of this, we can conclude that the Empress is a card strongly linked with fertility, and in some decks she actually appears as a pregnant woman. Even though on the Rider-Waite-Smith version it isn't obvious if that's the case, even though she appears to be a voluptuous woman. This link with maternity, feminine power and so on makes the Empress a great card to show up on a reading for women, as it is a very empowering card. The meaning of this card on a reading will obviously depend immensely on the question and on the spread, for this card can have several paths of interpretation. A more basic interpretation of this card will point towards a positive message of fruition, of harmony, success, and even motherhood or pregnancy. A strong link to the feminine side, feminine energy is present, which means you may experience positive growth or feel more empowered with your creativity, your sensuality, but also your more nurturing and caring side. Or you may need to connect better with this side of your inner self. Love and fertility are strongly present on this card, so if, for example, the question is related with family affairs, with children, and so on, it can be a really good omen. The Empress is a positive confirmation of the seeker's dreams and goals. And if applied to work, career, or personal projects, it can mean the creation or birth of a new phase, a new project, a new idea. Abundance will be certain during this time of growth, and it should be enjoyed. Remember that while this card speaks of motherhood, of pregnancy and birth, not only those who bring a life to the world through birth are a mother or a father. Labor is pain, but carrying is love is a very traditional saying in my country, which means you don't have to carry a pregnancy to feel, act, and love like a mother would. Sometimes birth mothers aren't that connected with their offspring at all. This is an unpopular opinion of mine, but the ultimate goal of a woman doesn't necessarily have to be giving birth. No woman is less of a woman for not giving birth, either by choice or biology or by life just not going that way. Connecting with the feminine side, the motherly and nurturing side of oneself, can be directed towards taking care of a relative, an adoptive child, or an animal. Any life form you show love and compassion will feel it and will appreciate it. Whatever the reason you are seeking the tarot for guidance and enlightenment, if you get this card upright, just be sure it is a positive sign of radiant positive energy and prosperity. The reversed side of this card will block the energy or have it come up short, fainting, or barely there. On some occasions, or depending on your method of reading the reversals, it can also bring the whole meaning upside down. For example, where the upright card brings achievement and abundance, the reverse can mean that all of the seeker's efforts are in vain and won't bring results. The seeker isn't finding the desired outcome of his or her efforts and hard work. Creative energy isn't flowing the way it was desired, and it may be that the seeker itself is creating a blockage that prevents the results from showing up. It can signify that the seeker is overly exaggerating the motherly and nurturing side towards others, which can lead to dependency or a controlling relationship, and this is far from healthy. One should love while giving space and freedom. It indicates a time of disharmony, of emotional detachment, of instability and imbalance. The disconnection from the earth can be a motive of this insecurity and uncertainty. So having this card drawn reversed could be a good advice to reconnect with nature, with earth, absorb the energy from the ground, the radiant power of the sun, and the flow of life among the trees. This is everything I have for this card today. I hope I was able to convey the message of the Empress in a clear and useful way to you, even though I'm still a bit sleep deprived. Let me know your thoughts about this card, and remember to subscribe to the channel so you can get a notification every time I upload a new video. I have my social media links on the description box, and if you like this video, remember you can also support me by offering me a coffee on Ko-Fi. Every donation helps immensely and is deeply appreciated. As small as a donation may seem to you, it still makes the world of difference to me and those around me. Like the cats, especially the cats. Stay safe, and I'll see you on the next video for another card. Bye!